Welcome to Equine-Assisted World. I'm your host, Rupert Isaacson, New York Times bestselling author of The Horse Boy, The Long Ride Home and The Healing Land. Before I jump in with today's guest, I just want to say a huge thank you to you, our audience, for helping to make this happen. I have a request. If you like what we do, please like, subscribe, tell a friend. It really helps us get this work done. As you might know from my books, I'm an autism dad. And over the last 20 years, we've developed several equine-assisted, neuroscience-backed certification programs. If you'd like to find out more about them, go to newtrailslearning.com. So without further ado, let's meet today's guest. Okay, I've got Gitti Berkhoff here on Equine-Assisted World today, and Gitti is one of my heroes. She is a mother of a special needs young man who's now doing incredibly well. But the story of how she and her husband Henrik got there, you need to hear. And she now runs one of the best equine-assisted practices I've ever seen in the center of Germany, and also has a livery yard that runs as what they call an Aktivstall, where the horses all live out in a very interesting system. So she sort of wears all these different hats. And when it comes to the cutting edge of equine-assisted stuff, Gitti really is a mentor and is someone who, if I was in your shoes, listeners and viewers, I would be reaching out to her for mentorship and training. And you'll see why as we proceed with this. So thank you for coming on, Gitti. Can you tell us a little bit about who you are and how you evolved to the practice that you currently have?
Yes, of course. Thank you for having me here and to give me the opportunity to tell the story of my husband and me and our son, Julian. And it's interesting because something is near to the story you had with Rowan, and maybe that touched us. And yes, it showed us that other people have nearly same stories or different stories, but the important things are the same, and bring stones to, wie sagt man, stones rolling, and it goes on. And we had an interesting way with our son. It started from, I was working as a nurse, later then teacher for nurses. And Henrik, my husband, and me met each other and were very, fresh married. Can we say that?
Yeah, newlywed, we would say.
Okay. Yeah. And then we noticed, okay, I'm pregnant. There's a child on his way. And they said in the middle of the pregnancy that Julian is not really healthy, that he's disabled, that they don't know if he can survive. And all the medicine specialists said, you don't have to get this child, you have to do an abortion. Is that the right term? And we knew, no, when I cannot survive that. I cannot, this child belongs to us, and we have to go the way with him as long as he needs us. Maybe he will not survive, but we don't want to take part of his life away from him. And Julian was born in 2002, and he had really a lot of complications, and he was fighting for his life. We did the same. We were parents fighting 24 hours for his life. And some years later, when he was more stable and not so much in danger all the time, and life went normal ways, it felt a bit more normal than in the beginning. I thought when he was 4 years old, what about riding therapy? And we live on a farm here, and we had ponies from my father-in-law, but they were not such educated that I could put my disabled sensitive child on them. And yes, I searched riding therapy, but that was, not bad. But I felt there's more possible than sitting on a horse, going round by round, doing some games. Yes, that's nice. All the time when horses meet children, it's nice, of course. But I thought there's more possible than that. And I started to figure out, is there a way for much more education or more magic between horse and children? And I found some horsemanship concepts and started to work with Julian, and sometimes families with other disabled children came and asked for the same. And that was, the begin of working with children and horses. And I never said I'm doing therapy or something, but it happened that families came here and started paying for that. Okay, yes, horses are expensive animals. Sometimes you need money. And there was a bit pressure when parents come and think the children have to go on the horse, we pay you for riding lessons. And I said all the time, no, I'm not doing riding lessons. I want to figure out what the children need and what is the right magic education and development for the children in nature. And there was always a bit conflict. And then something happened really interesting I look at the date, it was 2017. Henrich had the idea to send me to a program in a town in Germany, Solingen, and there was a presentation from Horseboy method. And I didn't know, what? Horseboy method? What the hell is that? Okay, you paid for this. I go, but I'm tired. I had a really hard week, and now this weekend going to Solingen, listening to some people I don't know, talking about whatever. Okay, I'm going there. And then it took, I think, not an hour. And I was really inspired from everything I heard there, Horseboy method. And I called my husband and said, I have to learn that. That's so incredible. I have to learn that. There's so much science behind. I have to learn. But there's no place in Germany at this time we can learn that. Maybe I have to go to Texas, but that's not possible. And when I came home, he said, why not? Of course you can go to Texas. I thought he's really totally crazy now, because our farm, the disabled child, my mother was really ill at that time. I had to take care of her. And there was so much work. I couldn't imagine to go from this farm and my family and my child's. And then we planned that and went together to Texas. In 2018, in January, we were in Texas, not really knowing what we are doing. We were there and did Horseboy from 1 to 4.
I remember it well, and I remember thinking, wow, these people, they're really serious. But of course, I had met you, do you remember, back in the winter of 2017 in Germany, and I had been out to your farm, and I'd met Julian and your son, and I'd seen the operation that you were running, and I remember thinking, I don't think this lady needs to learn anything from me. She's clearly doing an amazing job. But of course, what you've developed since 2018 is even more amazing. But before we go there, could you take us back to when Julian was born? You've told us he was disabled, and you've told us that his life was in danger. Let's have some more detail. What was the disability? Why was his life in danger? What did you need to do to bring him out of danger? Can you tell us this story, please? Because it will really help people to understand.
When I was pregnant, they found out with ultrasound. What is the name in English?
Ultrasound, yeah.
Ultrasound. that there is open space in his back. We call it Spina Bifida.
Spina Bifida, right.
And Hydrocephalus,
Hydrocephalus, yes.
Water in the
on the
head.
brain.
Yeah. And it was terrible because they said maybe he will die before he's born, or he will die when he's born.
Why did they think he would die? From the hydrocephalitis or from the
Yeah,
spina bifida does not normally kill
there's
fetus, does it?
the Kleinhirn, the small brain, the small part of the brain was too deep, and in this area of the
cerebellum.
Yeah, cerebellum was too deep, much too deep, and there was pressure on, we call it Hirnstamm, the first
the
part
brainstem.
Brainstem, where it's breathing, swallowing, and when there's too much pressure, you can't breathe. And it got during the pregnancy deeper and deeper, and the pressure was too high, and that you could see there was so much water in the head. Then at that point they started with surgeries during while pregnancy, unborn children to give a surgery. Now they do it. All of the children get the surgery
inside the mother.
Inside the mother, yeah. At that point was the begin of that, and the specialists said, if you do that, yes, that can help, but about 50% get into abortion or much too early born, and that then you have more problems because of the too early born,
the premature birth. Right.
And we didn't want to do that, and our Professorin
your neurosurgeon
said, no, let it go like it is, and then we will do that when he's born. Get this water drain system after he was born, but the problem with breathing was from the beginning. And he had a lot of pneumonia because the swallowing, he breathed his food and milk and something, and then he had infection of the brain from the problems, and the breathing went more worse and worse and worse. And then
what did you do to retrieve the situation? So if the situation is getting worse and worse, now you have infection in the brain. What do you do in this situation?
I started praying and beten, praying.
Praying, absolutely.
And then when it was so bad that we thought the next surgery, maybe he cannot survive that. I was on a point that I thought I break with everything, because I accepted when I was pregnant. And I couldn't understand why I accept and we go this way, and then he dies after that. I couldn't understand. But he didn't.
Right, he did not die.
He survived, and then was a moment when a young doctor and me, we had a lot of nights sitting there with him, and the crisis was really a big crisis. And then Julian got a bit better, and this young man came in, and Julian was on the table he wanted to see him and to check everything, and he saw him, and the face got and started crying because he didn't know this man. And we noticed, his brain is okay. He can make a difference between mommy's face and this man. I don't want to have this man on my body. And he said no. And this doctor and me, we were so happy to see that Julian can make the difference between these two faces. We call it in German, Fremdeln. This was he was not used to this person. And he said, no, 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 no. And that was really a wonderful moment to see that maybe he has not so much
brain damage.
Yeah, brain damage from that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then it went better and better. And then we started life.
How many surgeries did Julian have to have?
Oh, there were times I knew that exactly, but in the first 2 years of his life, I think he had 9 or 10 surgeries and different stuff from the brain. Then he had problems with the drain system in his belly, and that made other problems. Then it was broken more than one time. Nobody knew from growing, and then his body got longer, and then it was disconnected. Oh, yeah. And the pneumonia was sometimes a big problem. Then he had fever about 41 degrees Celsius, and the next surgery,
41.
Fever.
Wow.
Yeah, 41. And then he got into a surgery.
Crazy.
Yeah, that was really crazy. And you have to give that child away on the door. You cannot wait until he's sleeping. And that was really like to give it to some Henker, to somebody, killing him.
So for the listeners and viewers who, if you just take a moment to think what this means as a parent, because of course, Gitti, you did not just have one child.
No.
You have 3 boys, and so you also had to be a mother to the young ones coming while dealing with all of this. And I know that Henrik, obviously, your husband Henrik, is also one of my great heroes. But nonetheless, this was extremely difficult, and you're working and you're doing all this stuff. I think for many people, the idea of, on top of this, to then start a therapy practice for other people in your position, for many of us, this would be too much. Even after some years, I know that the surgeries continued. I know, okay, maybe they were more spaced out, but nonetheless, this is heavy.
Mm.
How did you find the energy and the willpower, the desire to then offer what was working for you with the horses to other people? Because I think a lot of us would say, if you had only served your son, this would have been enough, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't. You went this extra. Why?
It's very easy. You know, horses give you energy. And when I was really tired from not knowing when it's night, when it's day, all was in a circle of doing stuff for Julian. And when I had 1 hour sometimes, then I hopped on a horse, on a pony from my father-in-law. And that gave me the energy. And that was, maybe I never thought about that, but there was a point that you said we all have a little trauma. Yeah, I forgot that. That was, I think it was a trauma, all this, but the energy to go out in nature and to be with the horses was so big. And always in my life, I think if you have something what makes you happy and you share it, then it gets more. That gives you more. You become something back, more than you gave away. And to share this luck with, be able to be with horses, that was always something like a motor, something, the energy to share, then I can feel what I have. And I always was thankful for this option to be with horses. And I told my children, my 3 boys, sometimes they say, why are so many different people at our farm all the time? And I said to them, yes, it's nice to be here in this paradise place. And it gets more nice when you share it, when you let other people be a part of this and get the healing energy from that. That gives you the option to grow and to stay with energy and healthy. I think that was the most reason.
Well, it's an interesting viewpoint because you are right, but I don't think everybody comes to this conclusion. And particularly when you have the level of exhaustion that you had. There's something before we go into where Julian is now and also your practice now, because you really have a unique practice that I want you to tell us about. I just want you to talk a little bit about your background as a nurse before Julian came into the world, because I think this has also really helped your practice. And I think there's something I've learned a lot from you because of this previous background. So tell us, what kind of nurse were you? And how has this informed your current practice?
Yes, I was a young nurse. When I worked as a nurse, I was normal in a hospital working, and then I started to work with a special patients, patients with stroke, with dementia, and disabled mentally or with
brain injuries
and sensitive problems.
Okay.
And from that, later years later, I was a teacher for nurses and had this themes was my biggest, oh Mann, jetzt fehlt mir das Wort, my biggest interest to teach about strokes and people with stroke and dementia. And
why were you so interested in strokes and dementia and the brain?
Good question. Because, good question. I always told my, students that when people are in problems with their sensory, it's important what your hands do. And there's a lot of stress in this area, in this job of nursing. And you have to run and you are always in trouble with the time and less people and too much work. But how you speak, how you talk to people, how you touch them, the sensory of your hands, that's what I am and you are, and nobody can take that from you, what you can give with the hands. And these people that dement or with stroke and sensory issues, they need the sensory of your hands and of your heart and your soul, and that's,
they need touch.
Yeah, touch from
and
here,
love.
from here, and love. Yeah, and that was, I think, that was touched me. And my mother later had a Parkinson and a stroke too, and I could help her a lot with all this knowledge. And I had a lot of touch to a lot of time with dying people and keeping them, helping the way when they have the last part of their life. And all this was my favorite profession. And I was teaching a lot of this stuff. And to have the children with disabled at my place on the farm and with horses, that was often that families came and said they don't want to put this child on a horse because it could have was heißt epileptischer Anfall,
Yes, could have an
epilepsia.
epileptic fit. Yeah.
Yeah, or spastic or something. And I did something that, you know, it's kinesthetic. It's the kind of move bodies without carrying, like this. This is carrying and lets the body fly, or I can take this bottle. It's better. And you can make this, or you can say, okay, let's roll, let's have other movements, and that's good for the brain and for everything. And all this can go hand in hand with the idea of horseboy.
Mm.
And it's not riding therapy. I'm not a therapist. I try to bring horses with good education and trust into human to people and children. They need this magic from their bodies. And I can combine all this with movement, with sensory work, with good educated horses, and a lot of fun and crazy stuff together with a lot of families and children. And
well, I've seen the fun and the crazy stuff, and one of my most cherished experiences in my professional life has been taking Julian, your son, out fox hunting.
Yeah.
And this is something I never thought we would do. And before the listeners all scream and say, oh, you can't go killing foxes, don't worry, we don't do that. We are following a pre-laid scent with hounds. No fox is involved. However, the trappings, the outward pageantry is the same. And of course, I grew up with this and loving the sense of freedom. And it had always struck me as a little bit sad in the therapeutic riding world that the experiences always had to be so controlled, because that's not what feeds the human soul. What feeds the human soul is adventure and nature. And when you agreed to help us set up these special needs hunting days with a real pack of hounds and laying the scent so that the riders, including Julian, who, listeners, is still in a wheelchair but doing incredibly well. He has a job, he drives, he's all of that work and all of that angst from 20 years ago has, of course, paid off. He's a wonderful young man, and he presents at conferences and flies around the world doing this. It's been a great success. But to see him in a big Western saddle, in hunting clothes, going out and riding across country like this.
But let's say it has to be a safe.
Indeed.
Yeah, we did it in walk, but it is hunting.
We did it in walk, but nonetheless, we were crossing country.
Yeah.
The hounds were working around us, and we still had to get up things and down things, and it was real. It was real riding. Yeah. The fact that you could do this and that you could see the value of this, and that even though I think both you and I had our hearts a little bit in our mouth, as we say in English, while this was going on, of course, this could only happen because you pay such enormous attention to the preparation of your horse. Now, you've talked a little bit about the need for a well-educated horse, but I know your horses, and I know that their level of education is something far higher than normal in the therapeutic world. Can you talk to us a little bit about how you prepare your horses and why you prepare your horses in this way?
Yeah, of course. We started our place here to be a stable for people who want to rent a place for their own horse. We have 25 horses from other people here, and we build it. And I have at the moment 9 horses with them I can work with children and adults. And we built a stable, an active stable, that the horses can live in herds outside all the time, move, have fun, talk to each other. and they notice a lot of things, machines going around them and noises and traffic, whatever. People, children, fire, what we do. And that is one part, that the horses have all their needs, and we educate them from the system you taught me, the horse boy training system for the horses. It's a kind of Takhin, it's a kind of horse boy and the movement for the horses, movement method for the horses. And we train them with one part is crazy time, that they can play and run around with other horses, not only one on a longe, but also that we are doing lunging, we do the side steps pattern.
Lateral work, yeah.
Lateral work, because that changes the in-hand work, changes the brain.
Yes.
And then we make them bomb-proof with every crazy ideas we can have together with the children. Mostly they have to help me to develop the horses with crazy stuff.
It's something to watch, because I've watched you lunging the horses for their top line muscle, but having the children helping you do this. And I've watched you working the horses in hand to keep them supple, like a yoga. And again, as you say, for the brain of the horse as well, and the children helping you with this. And then also, as you say, the crazy time where the horses can have a lot of fun playing in herds. But again, the children and the young adults that you work with all participating in the care of the horse. I think this is really unusual. You don't see this in most therapeutic barns. There's usually a separation between the client time, which is often very controlled and frankly a bit boring, and the work with the horse. And one of the things I love about your place is that the people who are working the horse are often the clients. This, I think, is quite revolutionary. Also very practical. When you have a horse that's educated like this, the brain is good, the body is good, they can collect, they can make good decisions. You can then, of course, explore. I think it would be fun if you told us a little bit about how some of your play dates, and I'm glad you call them play dates, not therapy sessions, because I never yet met a child that wanted therapy, but every child I've ever met wanted to play. I have seen really, really creative things happening in your arenas and in your forest trails. Can you just give us some examples? Because I think people can take inspiration for things to try at home.
Yeah, and the most and lovely and easiest thing everybody has to try is pillow fighting.
Pillow fighting.
Yeah.
How does pillow fighting work?
We have old pillows. Some are strong, some are wobbly, and the wobbly are the best, because if you have a child on a horse and you will do a boring game like catching a ball, and you throw the ball and the ball comes to the fingers and is pew, going away, and that tells children you are not able to catch a ball.
Yeah.
And I'm afraid of balls. In my childhood, I always had fear about balls getting into my face, and I'm too stupid to catch them. And that's what children can feel. And we started that with pillows, because you can get a pillow on your head, in your face. Yeah, what about when it's a soft pillow? Why not? And when the horse gets a pillow in the face, okay, we can say sorry, but it's not really the end of the world, because it's soft. And you can catch it with 2 fingers. If you have a soft pillow, I don't have one here, it's easy to catch. You can do a lot of funny stuff, because the parents sometimes stay on the side and waiting, and then we take all the pillows and say to the children, "Oh, let's go near to the parent," and then we throw all the pillows on daddy or mommy, and from that moment, parents are in. We take them in, then we run away on the horse, that they can throw it after us, and they can try to throw the pillow that it's staying on the butt of the horse or on the head, or You can put it on your head. You can try to get it on the butt of the parents. And that gets the most points. Or you can count how often can we throw it and it's not falling on the ground. And we can do it like a frisbee. It's so easy. And we have a big barrel. There are all the pillows with different colors, different kind of soft or more strong. Mm-hmm. And that's so easy. Then we do what?
Sword fighting.
Sword fighting. And yeah, then the children have to be careful that they don't hit the head of the horse. Sometimes they do. Then we say sorry, and then we play. And we play with toilet brushes. You know, toilet brushes?
Tell me how you play with the toilet brush.
We have pity pots and...
Yeah, the potties.
Potties.
Yeah.
And we put water in.
Yeah.
We don't tell that's water. Like, the people have to think it's pee.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the brushes and we can put all the water on the parents. And then they scream and run away and then we hunt them. Hunting parents with
it's an amazing sight. I've seen your autistic kids on horseback hunting their parents with toilet brushes. And it looks like they're like in a Catholic ceremony with the frankincense censer, but instead you're doing it with toilet brush. It's not holy water, it's pretend pee water, and the sense of anarchy and joy, and rebellion.
And when it's hot, it's a nice rain for everybody, and you can, for children in a wheelchair, the toilet brush has a long stick. And then they sit and they are small and they can brush the mane of the horse because the toilet brush is longer. You can clean the horse with that. And it's all the time very funny because people come along and say, what are they doing with the toilet brushes? And this is really nice and gets people to communicate and ask questions.
Right. I think what is so often missing is joy and humor, real humor, and this sense of rebellion, of breaking rules, which of course for children this is like oxygen. Mm-hmm. And I think particularly children that spend a lot of their time being controlled, and unfortunately if you are special needs, a lot of your life is quite controlled. This idea that you could express yourself in this way, and then of course humor like this is perspective. When you break the rules and you take this kind of, when you make any kind of joke, you are seeing the situation from the outside. And I think this expands cognition because it allows the brain and empathy, the brain to say, okay, I need to step outside the situation, look at the situation in perspective, in order to create this humor. If you're in the equine-assisted field, or if you're considering a career in the equine-assisted field, you might want to consider taking one of our 3 neuroscience-backed equine-assisted programs. Horseboy Method, now established for 20 years, is the original equine-assisted program specifically designed for autism, mentored by and developed in conjunction with Dr. Temple Grandin and many other neuroscientists. We work in the saddle with younger children, helping them create oxytocin in their bodies and neuroplasticity in the brain. It works incredibly well. It's now in about 40 countries. Check it out. If you're working without horses, you might want to look at movement method, which gets a very, very similar effect, but can also be applied in schools, in homes. If you're working with families, you can give them really tangible exercises to do at home that will create neuroplasticity when they're not with you. Finally, we have Takhin equine integration. If you know anything about our programs, you know that we need a really high standard of horsemanship in order to create the oxytocin in the body of the person that we're working with, child or adult. So this means we need to train a horse in collection, but this also has a really beneficial effect on the horse's well-being. And it also ends your time conflict where you're wondering, oh my gosh, how am I going to condition my horses and maintain them and give them what they need, as well as serving my clients. Takhin equine integration, aimed at a more adult client base, absolutely gives you this.
There's another example for changing the perspective. Also, you can do interview with toilet brushes like a microphone. Yeah, that's very nice. You did some. You did one.
Brush. Brilliant.
Yeah, but there's another example. When you have your stick for, wie sagt man, Peitsche?
Yeah, for the lunging whip.
Lunging whip with maybe
the long handle.
Yeah, there is a string on the end like this.
Okay, the lash.
Or this.
Yeah.
This rope, this little rope. And when we go to the forest, there are, I don't know the name, disteln, kletten?
Yeah, thistles.
Small thistles, and the small balls all the time staying in the tie of the horse and in the hair and everywhere.
Yes, burdock. Speaking of humor.
Oh, can you bring me a toilet brush later, please?
That would be, yes, if we could see a little toilet brush interview, that would be, I think, quite helpful.
I need a toilet brush. Lucy has one in the horse.
Toilet brush for us, yes.
And yes, and I went to the forest, and all the time in this string of my lunging whip.
Yep.
The whip. There were these thistles in. And I was like, these thistles, and put them away. And there's another one. And then I thought, change perspective. Let's see how many thistles can hold on the string. They will fall off. No, they don't. And then you can start angeln from the horse, the whip, sitting on the horse, holding the whip, holding this string into the thistles, and see how many can we
catch.
Can we catch?
Like fishing.
Big fishes from thistles. Sometimes they fall on your head and you have a really problem, or into the mane of the horse. It's so funny that children sit on the horse and are fishing thistles from the horse with this whip. And that is changing perspective from something that makes you angry to something that makes you in a record. You have Olympic discipline from that, fishing thistles.
Yeah, it's genius. Because
very easy.
It's taking frustration and turning it into joy. Yeah. And this just isn't taught enough, I feel, in the therapy world. The importance of joy. If you're not creating joy, you're probably creating its opposite, right? You're probably creating some sort of suffering, even if that is not your intention. Because if you're not consciously creating joy, then what are you creating? And this is something which this conversation is not there in the normal therapeutic trainings.
Breaking rules.
But it's really the most important thing, right?
Yeah. We have an old toilet from building the house and changing something, and it's laying into the lost things place, the sand. It's a hill from sand, and children can play.
And a big sand pit, big sand castle,
And we put this old toilet there. It's laying there. Sometimes we build something with that. And really, when we go with children there, and they are the first time here, seeing the toilet in the sand, parents like, and at one point, all the kids ask, why is there a toilet in sand? And that's communication. And then we can do silly things with this toilet. A lot of autism children have problems with
toilet
training. And then we can make a game with that. We've thought about building poo and putting it in, and
building poo out of wet sand.
Wet sand or dark.
Get horse poo.
Horse. Or create dog poo, or create goat poo, human poo, and make a treasure hunt with poo all over the farm sometimes. Okay, thank you. Here is toilet brush and you can make an interview with this horse. Hello, my friend. What have you to tell us today? I think, where is your rider? I want to see the rider. It's crazy.
A master rider. Could this is Henrik Berkhoff, who is the other half, and we're going to be doing a podcast with him over on Live Free Ride Free soon. But Herr Berkhoff, could you say a few words into the toilet brush for us, please?
Would you say something for us? Hey. No, you can tell us something.
Hi. How are you?
We're good. The toilet brush is actually inspiring me. It makes me feel like I need the toilet right now. How's your toilet experience been today, Herr Berkhoff?
Nice time at the toilet?
Yes, it's a good time every day.
Yeah. Everybody needs that.
Yeah, I have to go.
Human being is...
You have to go to the house where everybody goes.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and it's so easy to have a lot of fun with children and break rules all day.
Yeah.
And yeah, and the rule is to have no rules.
Well, what I find wonderful about that is, again, I think kids that are controlled for so much of their lives, they lose a little bit their self-respect because they don't get a chance to push the boundaries in the same way that normal, quote unquote, normal kids might. So to give them the chance to consciously break rules continuously, like I've watched your play dates going from, as you say, massive pillow fights on horseback, including using the little pony as a hiding fort, and also with the pillows stacked up on its butt so that you can use them as ammunition. And the pony stands stock still, knows his job, and all your other horses going round as if they were in battle, knowing their job and participating joyfully and safely. And these kids going after their parents and each other with the pillows, to chucking the toilet brush water, to interacting with the toilet in the sand pit. You can see the world of, and then going to the forest and fishing for thistles or the other things. You can see the world of the minds of these children just expanding, and this feeling of relief, like, at last I can be a proper kid. At last I can be the person I should be, not this poor person in the wheelchair or this poor person who's a bit depressed because, I find the world confusing. It's liberating. But of course, this can only happen if you have horses that are prepared in the way that you prepare them, and the team that you have. One last thing, I'd like you to talk a little bit about your team, because this is something I think often overlooked. For anybody's mind to develop, there has to be a tribe. We are a social animal. And one person, one-to-one, it's okay sometimes, but really we need multiple personalities. But just quickly, the toilet thing, one of the reasons I find that so innovative is, I remember when I was trying to toilet train my son Rowan, and this took so long. Later, when I spoke to him about it, when he was more cognitive, he said, well, Dad, I was terrified of the toilet. I was really afraid of it. And I hear this time and time and time again from older autistic people when they become adults. They say, yeah, the toilet was terrifying because it had this space. You felt you were going to fall into the space, and there was this sense of shame and this sense of fear and getting it wrong. And then you just wanted to push it away and push it away. So the idea that you could have a toilet that you can go and make friends with and have fun with and play with in this silly way, standing right out there it's just genius because it takes away the fear. So
Yeah.
all of these good ideas that you have, do they all come from you? Again, you do have this team. Can you talk to us about your team and how you created the team?
Yeah, the team are different girls, and some of them have been clients and then came back and stood here. And I have one girl, she was here from a school. Was ist nochmal Praktikum?
A practicum is an internship.
Internship, a school internship. And she was really depressed. She didn't talk. You know Johanna?
Yes, I do
You know
know
her? And I didn't know anything. And it's a really important point when we have a lot of children from the psychiatry here. And always I say, I don't want to know everything about their diagnosis. I want them to feel like a child on a farm. We always have ideas to develop them, but I want them not to have the feeling they are from glass and out of glass and I can see everything. They are children on a farm. What I have to know, I want to know, but if not totally important, I don't want to know. And sometimes these young people come back, and sometimes they cannot find at a point after school. Some don't go to school, and they sit at home in their rooms and are depressed and have no kind of Aufgabe, no job, nothing to do.
No purpose, yeah.
Yeah, and there's no sense in all that. And sometimes they come back and start working here, and then they are part of the team. And it's really important that the children, that the young people, the staff here, everybody has his own superpower. And you have to see what is your superpower and what is the child you are the best to work with. And we see some of them are really good with the smaller children or the older one, and we don't look what we cannot. We always look after where are we especially good, and that makes everybody feel okay. It doesn't matter what is your superpower, but there is one. And the same with the horses. This horse is best for this job. Sometimes the horses say, oh, I'm the right one for this job. And that's what this team has to be, the same. And the children have to feel that we are good with each other and accept what we can, where is our superpower.
The big pillow fights, I've witnessed your girls and your team really getting into them with the kids.
Yeah.
Would you say that the majority of your team did arrive at your place with their own mental health challenges?
Yeah.
And by becoming professionals as part of your team, have found their own healing?
Yes, especially one girl, she was really in a bad Zustand. Situation. And she started working, and later she told us that this was way out of her darkness, inner darkness. And she's here, I think, since 4 years now. And yes, everybody has his own trauma at a point, and the horses heal the children, they come, and us too, and the stuff. And I think most of them got better through the work. And next week, somebody will start here working. It's really incredible. You know this man. It's Marvin Marcus.
Really?
He's sitting at home since years now. No work. And he thought about I think, like Julian, 2022.
Okay.
23, 22. and Marvel specialist. If you ever have a question about this Marvel and all these heroes, he knows, and he's very geduldig, patient with us. That when you ask the same question again and again, no problem, he will answer. And he starts now, I think we start a bit like collecting poo. And I told him, oh, when you are here, that's super. Then you can drive the wheel loader. It's a machine.
Mm.
And he said, no, I never did stuff like that. Do you think I can do that? I said, yes, I know. And you know that I never bring you in trouble with questions I have. Yes, I know, he said. And he's trusting me. And at the point when he was really little and he came here about 10 years ago, I think, it was really like a person with view to the ground and kapuze, you know.
A hood.
A hood.
Always covering him.
Always in this position. And now he's really much grown up and a person like this, and started riding with a lot of safetiness. He don't want to have too much action. And he will start working here. Let's see. I'm really interested what will happen now when he's starting working here. Maybe 2 hours a day. Better than sitting at home.
No kidding. Now, your own children are also part of the team. I think this is worth talking about. And tell us, so how does Julian now participate? And because I know he's also working. And then your other two sons, we haven't talked about Tristan and Jonathan at all, but I think we should now. Tell us a little bit about how your family is integrated.
Yeah, I think they understood that the farm is a place to give power to other people, and it's a green care farm. And they understood that it gets more when we share.
What is the concept of a green care farm? Can you explain?
Yeah, it's the way to let nature be a place for healing, for families, for children, for people, whoever, and to not only to build steaks from maybe steaks or meat or wheat or something to eat for people, and farming, normal farming can be, but we started to open the farm for people to get healing, to feel nature, to experience nature, to explore. And there's this green care idea. We have tiny houses for families that can come with their children and spend time in nature with animals. And our children started helping us. Yeah, the Julian is working, you know, but when he has time on weekends and we have groups here, people who want to see the farm, he starts to explore all this from the farm and showing the groups what we do, and he knows everything about the farm. If he could walk without wheelchair lift, he would be a farmer.
Okay.
But this is in this kind, not the easiest way, but he can be a part of this green care idea, makes maybe a job for him in the future. Let's see. And the middle son, Tristan, he is now 21, and he started studying agriculture in Bonn in Germany, and don't want to be a farmer, but he's interested in the system green care farm and and you can create it. Maybe we do it with horses, maybe they do it in a different way later. Let's see. And the youngest he's a young boy. He's 16 years old now, and sometimes helping with the play dates, and he's really good with young boys with ADHD because it's a bit of his personality, and he needs a lot of movement. And we started let him move whenever he wanted. And this is a good place for children like him to live on a farm.
Yeah, it's something which I think listeners also should know where Gitti and her husband Henrik live, their farm, it really is a farm. It's not just, we often say a farm with horses when it's not actually a farm. It's just a place where we keep horses. But no, it is not only a farm, but an organic farm.
Yeah.
And in fact, I believe you guys were the first in your area to switch to completely organic farming. And it's a fairly serious operation. It's several hundred acres of intensive agriculture as well as forest. And you do this alongside the equine-assisted programs. How does the farming help your clients understand the world and develop in the world?
Oh, I notice that children more and more are so far away from nature. They don't know that everything you can buy in a supermarket to eat is from nature. It's coming from the land. They don't know that. They don't know that apple grow on a tree. They don't know that chicken give us the eggs. Sometimes children really, it's not a joke, don't know the difference between horses and cows. They are here in our little town. And to get the children here, we have school classes here, do a bit of farming and gardening with them and putting their hands in the earth, planting something, trees or vegetables, whatever. And that is farming to show the children this is our planet and our food is growing here outside on the earth. And one example, all the time, if you hear what about the weather today, you may on the radio in the morning and yeah, today we have some clouds, but later there's coming the sun and then we have nice weather and 27 degrees today on the weekend. Nobody is happy when rain is coming after a long part of dry weeks or something. Nobody knows. It's only sunshine weather, and they use the water to have the pool in the garden. Nobody knows that we have to take care of our water. And it's so important that the children notice and learn outside this water, we drink it and we have to take care of it, and it's important that something can grow. It's not important for the farmer, it's important for everybody to have food. They don't know that. That's farming. Farming is, I think a lot of farmer could start to open it for schools and for children, that people get in touch with nature and farming.
I'm always surprised that more farmers don't do that.
Really? Yeah.
You know, because also those of us that really care about the countryside and the culture, the human culture also of the countryside, which I think is always a happier culture than a city culture because it's in nature. We cannot expect the population of people who live in cities, we can't expect them to care about the countryside or the environment if they have no contact with it. And if we are custodians of the land, we have to open it, or people will not value it and they will destroy it. This, I think, is something really overlooked. You have dealt with this stress from the urban kids in quite a few ways, not just the school groups coming to your farm, but you taking your farm to the school. Can you tell us a little bit about that situation? If you're a horse nerd, and if you're on this podcast, I'm guessing you are, then you've probably also always wondered a little bit about the old master's system of dressage training. If you go and check out our Helios Harmony program, we outline there step by step exactly how to train your horse from the ground to become the dressage horse of your dreams in a way that absolutely serves the physical, mental and emotional well-being of the horse and the rider. Intrigued? Like to know more? Go to our website, heliosharmony.com. Check out the free introduction course. Take it from there.
Yeah, there was a school, and the principal of the school told us, oh, we had a really hard last half year. One child died from cancer, and there was an amok situation with a father who was amoklauf in
Well, yeah, it threatening basically,
yeah,
and
and
threatening violence,
a lot of
violence, threatening
fear, a
violence.
lot of trouble. The conflict between Russia and Ukraine, Ukraine children, and a lot of stress.
Lots of violence and fighting.
Yeah. And she said, oh, could we, maybe you can come with one of your dogs, and we go through the classrooms with the dog. And Henrich and we thought, no, we come with the whole farm to the school. And we did.
So what did you do? What did you bring?
We brought 2 ponies
Okay.
into the school, little ponies, 2 goats, 3 chickens, and 2 dogs, hunting dogs, big dogs, crazy dogs. And that was 300 children came in groups, but not everything was organized. The children were able to decide, to make the choice. I go to the ponies, I go to the dogs, I go to the chicken and to the goats. And it was in separate areas of the school. And they could teach other children how to take care of that the chicken get not in trouble. We had our children, Tristan, Jonathan, Katharina, the girlfriend of Tristan, Johanna, the worker of our farm, Henrich and me. And we had all these areas with this different parts of animals, for the animals. And the children went through all that and got in touch with the animals in the school. And one child at least came and said to me, this was the nicest day in my whole life. And really heart-touching moments. And to have the animals, they did it. It was they were really great. And for example, I did 2 ropes on every side of the dog. Yeah, 1, 2 in the middle of the dog. And then children, 1, 2, 3, 4 children on both sides. And then was a challenge not to pull, not to pull the dog.
Okay.
To see what the dog will do and what he wants to explore. Okay. And the dog was going around the field. And the children had to follow.
They had to stay connected to the dog, but not interfere with him.
Yeah, and I did the ropes like this, and the dog was under. Then the tension of the ropes were like here, and the dog was not in trouble.
Okay, not affected if they did pull it.
Not throw the dog into parts. Yeah. No, the ropes were like this, and the dog was under this here, and then they couldn't. And they were so soft. They had to take care that all the children were in this right position to go where the dog wants to go in the middle. And that worked. And I had experts to say, oh, I think the dog needs a break. Everybody stopped, the dog lay on the ground and got cuddled. And the same with the ponies and with the goats. Not to lead them, let's see what they want to do. Follow the pony, follow the goat, follow the chicken. Get on the ground, be not too high for the chickens, then they come to you. You cannot catch them, they have to come to you, and stuff like that.
Yes.
It was so nice and easy. The most easiest things are often the most effective things.
Well, anytime that you do those types of exercise too, I think once again about this thing about empathy and perspective taking and looking through the eyes of somebody or something else, or looking after the needs of something or someone else in a way that is playful and interesting and fun rather than you have to do this, you have to take care of the knees. They sound simple to do, but they're not. How do you come up with these good ideas? Because I think you don't see this type of work very often. What makes you, where does it come from, this creativity?
I don't know. It's in the moment. It's in the moment when I think something is a problem, then I think, can I make a game from that?
Right.
Can I do this like a concept?
Mm.
When I get angry, can I make a joy from that?
So it's basically the idea that what you're doing is you're taking every situation that is potentially negative and you're just turning it upside down.
Yeah, I try.
It's
Yeah,
brilliant.
it helps a lot.
Did you always have this personality, or is this something that you learned over time?
Ooh, I think, yeah, when I was a child, yeah, maybe there was a series called MacGyver.
Uh-huh.
And this man can change every problem, and he can build something, a machine from maybe from this
Yeah.
and this and doing something with that. I don't know.
Yeah.
And that's so funny to figure out, how can I find the MacGyver situation from that? And yeah, that it's a game. It's joy. I don't know.
Did your work with dementia
Yeah.
help you with this somehow?
Yeah, interesting point. Because the dementia people, you cannot change what they had in their life. It's long time ago. And now they are in a situation and feel that the same happens again. Then you have to follow. You cannot discuss and say, no, there is nobody who wants to kill you. You cannot discuss that because what they feel is the truth. And that's for everybody. If I feel something, it is real. If I feel fear because of a toilet, it's real. We cannot discuss about that. Then we have to follow, and we have to believe. The children have to have the feeling that I believe them when they have fear or they are angry or whatever. And from that, if you accept, the first point is accept it, and then let's see what we can do with this, and to be creative and to break every rule you can break. Maybe that's can be the way out, or the way in, more the way in than the way out.
Yeah, I agree. You've talked to me before also about and I think this is what you're getting at when you say you have to believe them. You've talked to me about validation and the importance of validation, and you've talked about it both with people with dementia and with people with autism or ADHD. Can you tell us what you mean by validation? And how do you use it in a way that isn't just bullshitting someone and telling them, oh, yeah, you're right. How do you make this validation something that can lead to change?
Yeah, an example. Oh, let's see which example would be the best. I had an old lady, and she was really in fear and very aufgeregt, exhausted, or yeah. And nobody knew how to get her more feel safe, and she was running all around and asking everybody, where is my handbag? I lost my handbag. And they try to give her handbags. Here is one, take this. No, it was never the right one. And validation meant that you don't try to talk about stop searching your handbag.
Mm.
And it's long time ago what there was a problem, and you don't lost your handbag. Here is it. It's about imagine the fear of losing it, because I worked with her, and then we came into at a point. I asked her what she told. You lost your handbag, and to ask what they say gives the opportunity to speak. And then we found out this really dement person, when she was in the Second World War, she lost her handbag with everything, the money and the papers, and she had 3 little children and an old woman with her and no food. And she lost, or somebody steal it, and the money was away, the papers were away, and the Ausweis papers.
Yeah, the identification.
Identification.
Yeah.
And then they were all in danger and maybe killed. And then she had the only option to sell her body to the soldiers, that they don't kill them and the kids. And from that, she was, when she went in trouble, searching her handbag, and then sitting there and crying and not be alone and following in her world. That means that validation is not to discuss and telling people, no, it's not right how you feel that, and it's long time ago and now we are here. It's to follow into these feelings and then give them the feeling to talk about, like a good friend, and to be not alone, and let the tears come. And then she could calm down. And yeah, and I don't know.
How did you find out the backstory about what had happened to her in the war? Did she tell you, or did someone who knew her tell you?
Nobody knew. She told.
Okay.
Nobody knew that. She never talked about that. She was traumatized, and she had her speak. But sometimes you don't have people with the opportunity to speak. She had it, and when they get into this feeling, they get sometimes really not dement.
Totally, they come back to clarity, to lucidity.
In these feelings, sometimes, not always, sometimes, and sometimes this is too much. But if you follow and not try to get them to a point, really follow soft. Sometimes you can go back to trauma, but it's a bit dangerous. In this case, it was helpful, not all the time. You have to have a bit experience with that, and to stop when it's necessary, and more important to stop. But it's what the autism children also have, or the parents, that somebody comes and tries to understand, and really to understand what is the feeling behind, because the emotion behind behavior is always, there's always an emotion behind. When you are at the dentist and he says you don't have to have fear. Sorry, I have it. It's just here. And that doesn't help. I need somebody who understands that I have.
Right. Again, is the validation really empathy? Again, it seems that this word keeps coming up. Empathy.
Empathy, and really following the feelings. And was heißt glauben? Ich glaube dir. I believe. To believe. Really, to believe. I believe you.
Yes, because even if this is a construct of your imagination and you're seeing snakes coming out of the wall, to you, this is real. It's can't real. Say there are no snakes.
Yeah.
If you say, oh my God.
Sometimes it's enough to ask, what could help?
Right. When you do ask what could help, do they tell you sometimes, if you do this, this will help?
Sometimes it's a point to ask, because lived a long life. What did help? What did you help sometimes? And then sometimes they say, praying.
Okay.
And then let's pray.
Okay.
Together.
Pray together.
And not find the solution. If you really a problem, you don't want all the sometimes it's singing. A lot of helping is in music, to sing old songs they have mostly from the church, something that they want to sing then. When we are old, we want Rolling Stones or something, but this really old people now, 90 or 100 years old, you have to know that homework.
Yeah. Again, I think that sometimes when I'm doing trainings and in our methods, I will say they're often young people that are doing the trainings. They're often maybe 21, 22.
Yeah.
And we'll be walking in the environment and I'll say, tell me, what is that tree? Or tell me the history of this piece of land that we're walking in. What happened here 500 years ago? And often they say, well, I don't know. Or I'm not interested in that. I'm not interested in history, or I'm not interested in trees. And then I'll say, well, yeah, but what if the person you're working with asks this question?
Then
What
we have
if they
to
are
homework.
interested? And frequently, like, I'm often not interested in, for example, Marvel characters. I'm not interested. I'm not interested in Minecraft, but I am interested in this child, and I am interested in helping this child to talk. So I must develop some interest in their interest. So I will get on Wikipedia and I will look up some things about Minecraft, and I will, so that I can have at least the beginnings of a cocktail party conversation while we're walking along. And then I can say to that person, I meet you in your world. Can you meet me a little bit in my world? Again,
That's the bridge. That's
the bridge.
always the bridge, to go into the world. And then let's see if you can follow me into my world. And it's yours too, but at that
you
point,
have to go first. I think this is often missed by people in the therapeutic world. It's our job, your job, my job, to go first into their world. Someone's coming into your world right now.
Somebody is coming into my world now.
Is he coming to take you away? Because I know
think so. We have to go to Berlin now and to talk about horse and to meet this. Can I tell you? To meet David
so
Doyle.
tell us what you're about to go do in Berlin.
Oh, we want to go to Berlin, and we have a meeting with politicians and with Mr. David Doyle, and in Bundestag.
Yeah, in the parliament.
In the parliament.
What are you doing? Tell us.
Henrich, da musst du mir helfen. Also it's in Berlin. It's a parlamentarischer Kreis Pferd, horses, about horses. And they meet David Doyle, and he can tell about his concept in Ireland, in Liskinnet, and that the government in Ireland is, wie heißt das nochmal, unterstützen?
They
supporting that with money.
Yes.
And Inklusionsbeauftragte is coming there, and a lot of people, they want to talk about the Mehrwert Pferd, the value of horses.
Yeah, the value, the social value of the horse.
Yeah, and what is there more than sport horses or therapy horses?
Okay, this is fascinating.
Züchten is breeding.
Yeah.
Yeah, and what about nature, and what about living people and working, and clients are working like at David's place, and we want to bring this idea to Berlin, to the parliament.
Wow. Okay, this is extraordinary.
Today.
Okay, so we need to give a little bit of background here for some listeners. If you haven't heard of David Doyle in Ireland, you need to go on Google right now.
Yeah.
And type in David Doyle, Liskennet, Liskennett. That farm has pioneered our equine-assisted work to the point that he proved to the Irish government that over 5 years he could work with the most violent, difficult young adults who needed up to 4 minders with them. And through our methods, he could bring that number of minders down to 1, which saves the government about €1.5 million per client per year. And of course, not only does this happen through joy and healing, but of course, from a government point of view, they're interested in money, they're interested in numbers. David Doyle is too shy to come on this podcast, although I'm hoping that one day we will be able to get him on to talk about his work there.
Yeah.
But yeah, and as he was the one who's pioneered the work in Ireland to be now underwritten by government. So they now pay for horseboy and movement method.
Yeah, and now we are
waiting for a knock-on effect in the EU. So how did you manage to get David Doyle to the German parliament now?
Oh, Heinrich, do you want to tell this? Because we have the problem that our train is going in.
You know what? Don't worry about it. We're going to have a follow-up episode.
Yeah.
When you come back from Berlin, we're going to do this again.
Okay. And then tell about the story with David Doyle in Berlin. Then we can talk what happened.
Okay.
And yeah, I'm excited to go there.
So this is extraordinary, viewers and listeners. So what Gitti's saying is we have to end the interview now so that Gitti and her husband can get on a train to the Irish, to the German parliament to basically get the German government to support equine-assisted work. This is incredible, guys. Absolutely incredible. Will you come on? When do you come back from Berlin?
On Tuesday afternoon.
Okay. So we need to do round 2 of this interview then.
Yeah.
We'll do a second installment and we need to know what happened.
Yes, of course. It is a nice thing. Today we have a meeting with Clarissa. She's also there.
Yeah, she's coming with us.
This is another person that we need to get on the show.
Absolutely, absolutely. And what is so successful is a method, okay, but the people and all the tribe, we are together. All these people have the same thinking and they have the same ideas. And hey, they see what can happen if we stay in nature, in movement.
And everybody can have a toilet brush at home to use it in a different
way. Are you going to take
a
toilet brush to the German parliament and interview them and throw toilet water on them?
Not in the first round, but
maybe when you get to know them better. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, listen, guys, in that case, I don't want to keep you. Go and do this important...
Catch the train now.
And we will do round 2 of this interview when you get back.
Yeah.
Thank you for having us.
Best of luck, lads.
We sent a picture tomorrow evening from the Irish pub in Berlin, okay, for you?
Okay. Don't have any fun. Yeah.
No,
never.
It's always work.
Main rule.
Okay. All right. Well, in that case, I'm going to stop the record button and say goodbye. And thank you so much for coming on. And good luck in the parliament. And we will find out what happened.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
I hope you enjoyed today's conversation as much as I did. If you like what we're doing here, please do like, subscribe, tell a friend. It so helps us to get this valuable work done and the message of equine-assisted stuff out there. And if you're interested in more conversations, you might want to check out our Live Free, Ride Free podcast. And if you'd like to support the podcasts, please go to rupertisaacson.com and click on the Patreon link. If you're a professional in the equine-assisted field or are considering a career in the equine-assisted field, you might want to check out our 3 certification programs: Horseboy Method, Movement Method, and Takhin Equine Integration. You can find all of those over on newtrailslearning.com. And finally, if you want to check out our cool rock and roll themed merch back on rupertisaacson.com. Please click on shop. You'll find all kinds of fun goodies there. And if you're looking for a way to spend time until the next podcast, you might want to consider reading the books that kicked all this off: The Horse Boy, The Long Ride Home, and The Healing Land. So see you next time on Equine Assisted World. Join us for the adventure.